Speaker. Mr. Chairman.
Calling up Marama Davidson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you. So I rise again to take a short call to oppose the Shop Trading Hours Amendment Bill, which liberalises the public holiday, the shop trading hours for retail shops, for example. And I just wanted to quickly acknowledge my colleague Denise Roach, who did ask, perhaps like other members, to the Speaker to consider that we exercise a conscience vote on this legislation, and that I agree with other members of the House that we should truly exercise a truly conscience vote when we are standing on our principles in this House, which is a very privileged place to stand, and we get to personally exercise our vote. So I also want to, I've been sitting here and I did want to raise again the burn from my colleague Gareth Hughes around Standing Order 48, I think it is, which says that the members in this House get to never have to sit in this House on a Sunday. It quite specifically says that this House must not sit on a Sunday. So, you know, we consider ourselves important enough to ensure that this House, where we are all privileged, does not sit on a Sunday. So I thank my colleague Gareth Hughes for raising that really important point where once again we are disconnected. We get to take away, actually, the freedom of choice from other people who work, who are in paid employment like us. But we are not ruling out Sunday as a protected day, Easter Sunday as a protected date for workers. I also wanted to refer to, you know, this whole freedom of choice thing. This government does not value freedom of choice. It is tightening up the laws to put people in retail trading employment, to put those workers into the corner with less power, which equates to less choice. So it's really hard on my ears every time the members of this government stand up and rave on about freedom of choice. Also, the freedom of choice argument that is being used always assumes a balanced, a level playing field to start from, and that is completely not true. So I did actually want to pick up on the important part of this legislation around the employment relationship and how it seeks to protect employees from having to work on the Easter Sunday. So yes, strong laws are important to protect employee rights. Yes, unions are effective and important. Yes, strong laws to protect workers' rights are effective and important. But they do not always guarantee the protection because of the power relationship. And I have had many instances of this grievance personally when I was employed and was in the community listening to the grievances of young female workers working in retail jobs, particularly who had no power at all, despite the laws, despite unions, against sexual harassment. So we've got strong, clear guidances around sexual harassment to protect employees, but because of the imbalance in that power relationship, one particular young woman came to me, and in my role as a human rights worker for the Human Rights Commission for 10 years, with a focus on working with children and young people, one young woman came to me and talked about how when she knew she was being sexually harassed by her boss, by the person with more power who was in charge, who knew the legislation, who knew the workplace guidance, who understood that that was illegal and all the rest of it, but still did it anyway because he could get away with it. Because what is she going to do? What is she going to do, a 17, 18-year-old young woman alone in a room who is being sexually harassed by someone with more power than her, despite all the laws in the world? Which is why these decisions have to be made on a nationwide basis. We have to ensure that there are strong protections for workers to truly have their rights cared for. So I did want to expand on that one a little bit more. Also, There was widespread opposition, particularly from, there you go.
I just point, this debate concludes at past, and whoever is speaking at the time, I will be stopping it at that point. I'm going to call Paul Foster Bell.